63 years later, what happened to the dream? Political turmoil, militancy, and the collapse of structure. This certainly wasn't the dream of Muhammad Ali Jinnah. Young and old ponder over the meaning of their identity, as different elements lend us their own version of the Qaed's dream.
Soon after the death of Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, the leadership which came into power through the name, using the name of Muhammad Ali Jinnah in Pakistan, they distorted the very objective of creation of Pakistan, and the evidence of that is that Pakistan is a product of a democratic movement, democratic political movement. Pakistan is not a product of any religious movement or jihad as we call it. It's a product of Western political democratic process when the Muslims of subcontinent used their right of self-determination and opted to have a separate homeland. But unfortunately, democracy was the first casualty after independence in Pakistan. And there were many steps taken by the rulers which negated the very concept of a democratic Pakistan. And our problems started from there, and we are facing various crisis after crisis in Pakistan. And the dream of having a democratic modern state is still to be fulfilled for the people of Pakistan, for which they had sacrificed. So many sacrifices were made.
The message of Jinnah, reiterated in his last years, is forgotten. His works now only form a part of the same history books. But do we understand the significance of the 23rd March resolution and what it means for us today?
During the last 60 years, so we see on the one hand, we celebrate Pakistan resolution, which of course was initially Lahore resolution, mainly because it is the symbol of separation, and that means it is the symbol of Muslim nationalism in British India. On the other hand, after independence, the more substantive aspect of the resolution, which of course related to the internal divisions of power. And there it is that the leaderships have been talking about the distribution of resources and of course delineation of the status of various provinces in the light of the Pakistan resolution. So that is where the two interpretations have not been meeting each other.
63 years on, and the most fundamental questions still need answering. Are we heading towards a more progressive Pakistan? Are we generous hosts to our minorities? Or are we steadily declining to the same exploitation that instigated the creation of Pakistan?
Minorities, actually this was created for the Muslims, and the Muslims wanted that there should be a separate homeland for them. The non-Muslims were not interested at all in the creation of Pakistan. But the non-Muslims and the minorities who live with us, the Islamic system and the Islamic religion gives a support to them, and they treat in the Islamic State the non-Muslims and the minorities as a community which are, and even in our constitution we give them rights and we treat them as equal citizens.
But when we go to 1940 resolution, you see it very clearly says, the resolution is not saying only about Muslims, but also of Christians and the Sikhs and other minorities. And at times I always say that Pakistan was created for minorities. Muslims being the biggest minority of that time, the minorities played equal right with our Muslim brothers and sisters of that time, even to the extent that the casting vote of the Punjab Assembly, that at that time the speaker was a Christian, that went in favor of Pakistan.
To talk about minorities is against democracy, because in a democracy there are no minorities. All citizens are the citizens of that state in which they are living. And this same statement was given by Muhammad Ali Jinnah in the Constituent Assembly of Pakistan when he enunciated the principles on which the Constitution of Pakistan was to be made. He had said that you may be a Muslim, you may be a Hindu, or you may belong to any other religion. It has nothing to do with business of politics. All citizens of Pakistan will have equal rights. And then he had summed up his speech by saying that if you follow this policy, you will see that after some time, Hindus will cease to be Hindus and Muslims will cease to be Muslims. Not in the religious sense. This is very important. Not in the religious sense, because religion is a personal matter of faith for every individual. But for the sake of politics and constitution, all citizens of Pakistan will have equal rights. We violated that principle by turning Pakistan into a religious state. We violated that principle when we added word Islamic to the name of Pakistan, because that was not the idea of All India Muslim League and its leadership. You cannot find a single reference in the documents of All India Muslim League, in the speeches of leaders of All India Muslim League. You will not find a single reference about an Islamic state or a religious state. Every time they mentioned was that it will be a progressive, democratic, modern state for the Muslims, not an Islamic state.
I'm looking forward